Hello, this is wmpyr here to run you guys through where we actually aim for. What are we targeting on the opponent? So in Filipino martial arts, I think the two main weapons that we tend to focus on is number one is an impact weapon, right? So the general idea here with an impact weapon is you're going for hard bony areas. So like the skull, the collarbones, or like the hands right here. So you're aiming for anywhere where if you touch, you can immediately feel the bone. That's what we're going for, okay? So the bone is close to the surface of the skin. That's what we want to target. And the idea for that is we want to, put in a hairline fracture, or we want to break it, essentially. So we want to destroy what we hit because it's a strike. That's the idea. Hit it really hard and break it. The other type of weapon is a bladed weapon. So you can cut, you can stab. So whether it's a knife or a machete, with a bladed weapon, what we're going for is now the opposite. We want soft areas. Now, without going into like a ton of detail, why a soft area? One of the easy things to think about is if you go for like a skull or bone with your blade, you could damage your edge. So that's one reason not to go for a hard area, go for a soft area. So even like with defense, when someone's coming to stab me and I parry their attack, I'd like to use the side of the blade or even the spine of the blade to parry and then use the edge offensively. So I don't want to, if I can help it, I don't want to use the edge defensively where I'm ruining my edge, so to speak. So that is a general way of thinking, a general idea, and it's a good one to have. Okay, so the next thing is we go now to the 12 angles of attack. So from your angles of attack, you learn more areas to strike, more specific areas to strike. So the first one that I learned was the 12 angles of attack from modern arnists. And even within modern artist practitioners, I've seen variations and stuff. So mine might be a little bit different than yours or somebody else's. And it's really not a big deal. There's tons of different angles of attack forms. And, each one teaches you something a little bit different. So the first four, 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay, this is temple, temple, arm, and arm, or shoulder, shoulder. That's the way that I learned it. So number 1, number 2 is basically you're aiming for the head. And the reason why head is it's kind of pretty generic when they say head. And it's not because they don't know what they're doing or they're just lazy or something. No, we say the head because that leaves room for variation. So the main target, I remember my instructor teaching me, was the temple. He said, go for the temple, but if you hit him in the jaw or you hit him in the ear, hey, those are all good too. So that's why the head, okay? So that's number 1, number 2. Number 3, number 4 is essentially right here, the shoulder and the shoulder. And I think that's basically just to remind us that we want to attack the arms, okay? And you might be going, well, why didn't they say attack the hand? Why here? And I think because if you practice Eskrima, Kali, or Arnis, when you're training with partners and stuff, and you're practicing the techniques, a lot of times you accidentally hit each other's hands. It happens. It happens a lot. This is a normal part of our training. We don't purposely do it, but it happens. And when that happens, you immediately know, ouch, that hurts. So we don't need to be reminded of that. But the shoulder up here, I think that's not necessarily a normal person would go, okay, let me go for his shoulder. It's not intuitive. So to remind us to go, hey, even the shoulder can be a good target. I think that's an excellent reminder right there. Okay, so that's 3 and 4. Number 5 is the stab. And for the stab, I was taught, somewhere around here in the stomach is what you aim for. But I also remember my instructor teaching me, he said pretty much anywhere on the center line is good. So whether it's under the nose, the chin, the throat, solar plexus, stomach, bladder, groin, it's all good, you know. So just go for the center line, anywhere on the center line, you know. So that's number 5. Number 6 and number 7. Number 6 and number 7. This is on the knees. That's the way that I learned it. I think it's just reminding you go for their legs. That is a good target. So whether it's on the thighs like a Muay Thai fighter or you aim for their shins, it's all good too. Okay. So number 8 and 9 is this way and then this way right here. So that's here and here. Okay. So right here, I learned that there's nerves. There's a nerve cluster right here that runs through from your head and connects to your arm right here. So if you hit this hard enough, you can assume that, you know, it's going to cause your arm to tingle and difficult to function, like you hit your funny bone, right? So it's going to be in shock. If it's a bladed weapon, it may make it not function properly or not function at all, is what you can assume. I've never done those things, so I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that you could use this point right here to manipulate the body. So you can turn the body, and that I have done in full contact and stuff. And the other one is if you have, let's say on the ground, you're on the ground with an opponent and they're trying to protect their arms here, okay? And you use your elbow right here, right on the nerve cluster right there, and you grind on it, you can cause them to open up, and so that creates some opening right there. So those are 2 ways that I know you could actually use this nerve cluster attack, and I've actually used for sure. Okay, so the next, that's 8 and 9, 10 and 11 go to the eye and the eye. Okay, so you're aiming for the eye, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. This is originally, a military martial art, so, we're going for the eyes. Number 12 is straight on the head, okay? Straight on top of the head, it's straight down, and it is a powerful blow. Now, I've obviously never done it to a person, even in full contact sparring. I've used it to threaten people and to link it to other techniques, but I've never repeatedly hit someone on the top of the head, so I can't tell you what it was designed for or what. I mean, no one wants to get hit by that, that's for sure, but I don't know what the real purpose is. Is it to cause damage to the neck or is on the spine? I don't have the experience there, but I know it is a power strike, so maybe it's just an emphasis on power. But that should give you an idea for pretty much what we go for. There's plenty more. Like I said, there's other angles of attack forms, and then you could also go into specific techniques that are not in the angles of attack forms. So there's plenty more, but it should give you a general idea of how we think in Filipino martial arts. So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.